Imagine a society where dungeon clears determine your entire worth. And our boy, he rolled the absolute worst character sheet. Appraiser, 0 damage output, 0 glory, just analyzing boring data. So he flipped the script and started live streaming his runs. Suddenly, view counts transformed into levels, comment sections into abilities, and the trash tier nobody began scaling faster than the elite rankers. What happens when internet clout translates to raw physical power, and a content creator starts dominating the meta? Let's dive in. It all started when a party of adventurers ran straight into a boss-level threat. Judging by the sheer panic in their eyes, they were woefully unprepared for a monster of this caliber. A massive wyvern loomed over them. Amasora Shu, our protagonist, stood frozen until a girl he'd just met stepped up, ordering him to take cover behind her. She claimed she'd handle it, but Shu spotted her hands trembling uncontrollably. She was the one who needed saving. He knew he was technically useless in a fight, but sitting on the sidelines wasn't an option. He stepped into the fray and, desperate to prove his worth to the squad, began shouting out the wyvern's attack patterns and hidden abilities. The girl stared at him, totally shook. Moments later, as the wyvern charged a fireball, the MC screamed for everyone to evade. Thanks to his appraiser hacks, the monster's data was practically scrolling across his vision. Flashback to a while ago, Shu was on his daily grind. When he eavesdropped on 2 adventurers flexing in the street, one guy was hyping up a kill, bragging that the monster dropped some S-tier loot. Must be nice having a combat class. Watching them, the MC had a reality check, pulled out his phone, and opened his banking app. Balance a pitiful 12,035 yen. Let's rewind 50 years to Tokyo. The city was vibing in peace until the dungeon outbreak. Massive towers crashed down from the sky, obliterating neighborhoods. That day, the world reset. Everyone was assigned a class, and guilds popped up like startups. The most coveted loot, skill books. Just by touching one of these manuals, people could awaken dormant powers specific to their class. Obviously, not all classes were created equal. Humanity used these powers to push back the dungeons. Shu, however, unlocked a weirdly specific talent. During his first solo run, he ran into a hulking wood golem. Most would bail, but he didn't back down. As the golem charged, heart pounding, he locked eyes with the beast. He triggered his appraise skill, revealing the entire stat block. It was a D-rank mob, with a critical weakness in its skull and 0 resistance to fire magic. It smashed a massive limb into the ground. The thing was slow as molasses, but hit like a truck, relying on a single attack pattern. The MC sidestepped the smash and drew his blade. Logic dictated that since the enemy was literally lumber, a sword should slice right through. Theory confirmed. He went full lumberjack, chopping its legs before driving his steel into the weak point. The core embedded in its head. The golem froze, and the system pinged a notification. 30 experience points gained. Level up. Realizing he actually survived, Shu exhaled, the adrenaline finally fading. He whipped out his phone to cut the stream, couldn't risk the battery dying. After verifying the footage was safe, he grinned, relieved his phone screen hadn't cracked during the fight. Replacing tech was a luxury he couldn't afford. Time to check the build. He was only level 2, sitting at 110 mana and 110 physical strength. His offensive capabilities were trash. His appraisal skill, unique but practically useless in a brawl, using it on humans, felt like doxing their private info. He figured peeking at someone's stat sheet, without consent, was a major invasion of privacy. A strange hissing noise snapped him back to reality. The golem's corpse was dissolving into pixels, leaving behind drop items, specifically magic splinters. He looted everything immediately. He mused that his skill was basically a cheat sheet for everything. But here's the kicker: appraisal papers. Single-use items that do the exact same thing drop in dungeons all the time. You can buy one for a measly 1,000 yen. Basically, his entire existence was worth no more than a cheap consumable item. To make matters worse, adventurers are paranoid. They don't trust a person appraising their loot. They'd rather trust a piece of paper. He'd wanted to be a hero since he was a kid. But with a skill set, this garbage surviving the week was a challenge. Loot secured, he headed to the capital's Adventurers Guild to cash in. He approached the counter, mentioning his appraisal services. A nearby guy sneered, asking if this nobody called himself an adventurer. His buddy whispered to chill out. Shu was just a part-timer. Word on the street was his class is Appraiser. He identifies loot without needing the paper scrolls. The man laughed. That's it. He's worthless. His friend tried to hush him up, warning that Shu was right there. But the MC just gave a strained smile. He heard every word. Just wait. One day he'd be the top-tier adventurer everyone simps for. But for now, he's stuck at the guild desk playing the role of appraiser. Since monsters drop loot that needs identifying, his otherwise low-tier power actually finds a little utility here. The rate, 700 yen a pop. That's a solid 300 yen markdown compared to those rip-off appraisal scrolls people buy. It's been a month since he logged his start as an adventurer, but let's be real, his paycheck comes from guild grunt work. When his mana bar isn't empty, he's basically an intern for the receptionists. Clock out, cash out. But walking away with his daily earnings means enduring the mocking stares and whispers of the real adventurers. He steps into the cool night air, letting out a heavy sigh. 7,700 yen. That's the grand total for 1 hour of intense focus. But do the math. 10 hours to recharge that mana, plus the work hour. That's 7,700 yen, split across an 11-hour grind. The hourly rate is abysmal. It's pathetic, but it's his only play right now. Defeated, he drags himself home as the sun dips below the horizon. No time to sulk. He hits the chair, fires up his PC, and grinds on his secret side hustle. Then he grabs his phone to check the results. It's go time. He uploads his debut video to the channel. The production value kinda mid, but for a pilot episode, it's passable. Time for the description, slime stats, and kill guide. See, Shu knows the harsh truth. Appraisers rarely make it to the big leagues as full-fledged adventurers. So he's building a golden parachute, a video streaming channel to pay the bills when the adventuring dream hits a wall. Sure, you can Google monster data, but who's actually dropping gameplay walkthroughs on the optimal kill meta? Nobody. That's the gap in the market. Content live. PC off. He crashes into bed completely drained, but sleep won't come. He's staring at the ceiling, nerves fried, wondering if the internet is going to roast his first creation. He checks the stats 1 hour later. 5 views. Ouch. But hey, fresh channel 0 subs. What did he expect? Praying the algorithm picks it up overnight, he finally squeezes his eyes shut and drifts off. While he snoozed, the view count climbed, and so did his experience bar. He wakes up to a jarring ding. Sunlight hits his face. It's morning. Was that a system alert? He blinks groggy and convinced he's still dreaming. Just to be safe, he summons his status window. His jaw drops. No way. The numbers don't lie. He actually leveled up. He's sitting at level 3. But how? The logic doesn't track. He hit level 3 without touching a weapon or killing a single mob. Is the system glitching? He scrambles to his computer, scouring the forums for any mention of an XP bug. 0 results. Is he the first player to exploit this? He checks the video analytics. Boom, over 30 views overnight. For a rookie upload, those numbers are solid. It's exactly the fuel he needs to keep the channel grinding. Fast forward 24 hours. He's hit level 5. Now he's totally spooked. What on earth is going on? Level 5, without lifting a finger. Suddenly his phone buzzes in his hand. A new notification pops up. Someone dropped a comment on the video. He dashes to the keyboard to check the feedback. It's from a user named Lion. Oh my god, thanks to this guide, I finally soloed my first monster. A grin spreads across his face. Finally, his trash appraisal skill actually helped a player survive the early game. He doubles down, uploading 7 more clips. The total view count smashes past 1,000. For a newbie creator, he's absolutely killing it. He hopes more players like Lion are out there leveling up because of him. And then it hits him like a truck. He cracks the code. Is he farming XP vicariously through his viewers? It's just like healers getting credit for keeping the DPS alive during a raid. The system registers his video guide as party assistance for the kill. So when the mob dies, the system splits the experience points between the fighter and the content creator. It's an infinite loop. Users watch the guide, slay the beast, and the system wires a cut of the XP straight to Shu. But is this actually broken? There's only one way to find out. Time for a field test in a dungeon. The world is riddled with dungeons, but he picks a low-tier trash dungeon right in his neighborhood to test the theory. His analytics show the slime video is the MVP. See, most wiki sites only cover the mid-tier boss stats. They ignore the basics, but the rookies are desperate for info on the weak mobs they actually fight. The strategy is clear. Drop guides on the monsters nobody talks about, and the views will pour in. That's the ticket to viral growth. He even splurged on a neck-mounted camera to capture the action point-of-view style. He starts swinging at mobs, narrating the fight live. Okay guys, see this skeleton, no weapon right, but watch out, those bony fingers will gut you like a fish. Stay sharp. Now zombies. They hit like a truck, but their wind-up animation is super long and the AI is dumb. Easy to kite and dodge. Ghosts up next. Physical immunity guys, if you aren't packing magic DPS, run for your life. Good news is they're slow as molasses. Footage secured. He edits the clip and smashes that upload button. He held his breath. His analysis of the undead behavior patterns was locked in. Now, just the waiting game. Boom, it worked. A massive XP drop flooded his bar, smashing him right through to level 10. His theory was dead on. Since he was mid-shift at the guild, he let out an accidental victory screech. Bad move. His coworkers immediately barked at him to keep it down. He scrolled through his channel dashboard grinning. The comment section was finally passing the vibe check. Everyone was hyping up the new camera quality. Crisp visuals, pro lighting. That 30,000 was not a waste after all. But spotting clients walking into the guild, he zipped his lips and pulled up his status window. Aside from the level bump, a new icon flickered on his HUD skill, acquired inventory. Basically, a personal subspace for loot storage. The catch, it was currently the size of a cheap cardboard moving box. Not exactly mind-blowing. It'd have to suffice. Still, looking at his base stats stung, the growth was painfully sluggish. At this snail's pace, he'd need to grind through levels, just to look like a halfway decent adventurer. Glancing back at his video comments, the mood shifted. The hate was rolling in. Unwatchable. Where's the subs? The audience was dragging him for the raw footage and lack of captions. It hit hard. Sure, he could pirate some editing software, but he had zero skills on the timeline. He didn't know any editors personally, and his wallet was empty. With a sub count too low for monetization, he was stuck. But if he could just power up, he could snag a high-paying gig. He scoured the web, and bingo. There it was. The exact ad he needed. Cut to later, standing before the Lords of Orthrus HQ. The sheer scale of the skyscraper made his stomach churn. 1 week post-application, his phone pinged. A notification invited him to the main complex. The listing called it a squire position, but let's be real, he was signed up to be a glorified pack mule. He stepped inside, approached the receptionist, and dropped the line about the part-time gig. She pointed him toward the elevators immediately. This had to be a massive raid if they were scraping the barrel for level 10 adventurers like him, which meant low stakes, right, no danger. The receptionist escorted him to the briefing room. He pushed the doors open and froze. No friendly faces, just a room full of hardened thugs, glaring daggers at him. Instant bad vibes. Panic set in. Don't be rude, don't be rude. He snapped into a frantic bow and practically screamed, I'm Amasora Shu, I'll be your porter today. The room went dead silent. A beat passed, then everyone just went back to talking. Totally ghosted. He stood there, burning with embarrassment. What did he expect? Nobody cares about the luggage guy. Well, almost nobody. The guildmaster of the Lords of Orthrus stepped forward. Kaisu Mashogo. He walked right up, thanked Shu for showing and gripped his hand. Counting on you. Shu stammered a thank you for the hire. Kaisu walked off, waving a hand over his shoulder. Meeting starting. Grab a seat. Shu scanned the layout. 30 seats. Tight fit. Better to hide in the corner. He beelined for the back, but smack, he collided right into someone. A girl hit the floor. Crap, sorry. He scrambled to help her up. You okay? She took his hand, smiling. I'm good. My bad. I wasn't looking. That's when he really looked at her. Whoa. A foreigner, and judging by her outfit, were they letting high schoolers raid dungeons now? She plopped down next to him. I'm hired as a squire too, by the way. You're Amasora Shu. Yeah, I'm Ava Lion. The name triggered something in his brain. His eyes went wide. The first person to ever comment on his video had the handle Lion. Nah, mere coincidence. Who was crazy enough to use their government name as a username? He brushed it off and asked, So you, from around here? Parents are Russian and American, she chirped. But I was born and raised here. She glanced at his empty shoulders. No backpack. Time to flex. He held his hand out to the side and pop a water bottle materialized out of thin air. Her jaw dropped. Inventory skill, he explained. I can stash stuff in a subspace and pull it out whenever. Thanks to the XP from his channel views, he'd leveled the skill up to tier 3. The storage capacity had expanded massive amounts. He could carry a literal mountain of gear now. I'm so jealous, Eva sighed. I'm stuck with just combat skills. He gave an awkward grin. Honestly, he was the one who should be jealous. I don't have a single attack skill, he admitted. Sounds lame, I know, but mind watching my back if things go south. She giggled. Everyone has their role, you can count on me. Cute, he thought. Suddenly the room plunged into darkness. Showtime. The guild leader fired up the main screen. The announcement drops 3 guilds, 1 massive raid. He clicks the remote and the tech hums to life. A live feed flickers onto the main screen, showing the other squads dialing in via video link. Mics are hot, he warns, cutting through the noise. Keep the chatter clean. We're live. Suddenly, one face on the monitor locks the MC's focus, a girl with raven black hair and a dangerous aura. No mistake about it. That's the leader of Fresh Blood Idols, the A-rank legend herself, Bloody Kuromine. In this world, ranks are everything. Kazuma leads the Lords of Orthrus as a solid B-ranker, and there's another heavy hitter on screen. But A-rankers, they're unicorns. Less than 10 exist in the entire country, Eva whispers. Wait, we're diving with them. Usually rookie adventurers just get stuck hauling luggage. He nods, doing the mental math. The payout for a gig like this is insane, and theoretically the safety rating is high. Shogo chimes in. Fresh meat joined the roster today. Time for the briefing. The target isn't some training ground. It's the Sky Palace, a freshly cracked A-rank gate. Shu freezes. He thought this was a milk run in a low-level pit. Reality check, it's the exact opposite. He grinds his teeth, panic rising. Is this a joke? That fortress is practically on top of the gate. A guy with his stats has zero business being there. But with Kazuma hyping the crowd backing out now would look pathetic. Fast forward and he's standing there, camped right outside the dungeon maw. Officially, this is just a recon mission, a look, but don't touch operation. A full, clear impossible. No single guild has the firepower to solo an A-rank dungeon without getting wiped. Kuromine Shizuka commands the room, gathering the troops at the entrance. Listen up. One last run-through before we breach. Priority 1. Establish a forward operating base inside. If the zone is too hostile for that, we pivot. Plan B. Intel gathering. We need data on the local nightmares. But make no mistake, the endgame is a full clear. She scans the crowd. I need absolute coordination. No heroes. The MC studies her. The Fresh Blood Idol's leader stands tall. 80 raiders strong, and most of them wear her guild's colors. One, look at their gear, screams pro. Looming near the camp is the massive black gate. The bridge between Earth and the hellscape beyond. Looks like only Kuromin's elites are crossing the threshold, while the other guilds play support with logistics and backup. Eva shakes her head. I can't believe I'm part of something this huge. Shu nods, feeling the weight of it. Meanwhile, Shizuka starts reading the Vanguard roster. It's a mix of her best people and select outsiders. The MC zones out. He was terrified a minute ago, but let's be real. Level 1, porters, like him and Eva, are staying on the bench, safely in the back line, but then defying all logic. Shizuka calls out their names. They both freeze, staring at her wide-eyed. Are you serious? She doesn't blink. Zero errors here. She handpicked the team after scrubbing through the background files of every soul on site. And yeah, the hazard pay is going to be life-changing. Shu snaps out of it, yelling. That's not the point. Why us? You saw our stats. We're total scrubs. Her reply is cold as ice. Doesn't matter. Inside an A-rank dungeon, anyone under C-rank is equally useless. The MC looks around at the veterans. Anyone else want this suicide mission? The pros avert their eyes. Nobody want to gamble their life. In a dungeon that high tier, Shizuka shrugs. You have the right to walk away. No hard feelings. She gets it. But Shu feels a shift. This is the turning point. He's chased the dream of being an adventurer since he was a kid. This might be the only shot he ever gets to stand shoulder to shoulder with Japan's strongest warrior. He clenches his fist. I'm in. Eva looks at him like he's lost his mind. He shoots her a reassuring grin. You don't have to come. I'm just the idiot risking it all for a dream. She hesitates, trembling, then steels herself. No way. I'm coming too. Shizuka nods and pivots toward the gate. They step into the Sky Fortress. These dungeons are ticking time bombs. Leave them unchecked, and monsters spill into the streets, putting innocent lives on the chopping block. For 50 years, humanity has been bleeding out because of these breaches. The beasts inside an A-rank are apex predators. But when the Fresh Blood Idols engage, it's a slaughter. The monsters don't stand a chance. While the pros decimate the front line, Shu and Eva cower behind some boulders. He peeks over the edge, awestruck by the violence. So this is the power of the number 1 guild. Eva glances at him. He's oddly steady. You okay? She asks. He smirks. I was freaking out before. But watching them work, I think we might actually survive this. The squad clears the room and pushes deeper into the dungeon. Shu wonders if they've hit the 6th floor yet. The golden rule here is simple. The deeper you go, the nastier the enemies get. Hopefully this raid wraps up fast. Suddenly, a cyclops slime drips from the ceiling right behind him. The blob lunges before Shu can even react to the ambush. Eva blitzes in slicing the slime into a puddle. You good, she gasps. Shu nods, thanking her. Glad you're safe, she says, but Shu catches the tremble in her knees. She is absolutely terrified. Why is a girl this scared, even a hunter? Suddenly the vets scream out monster nest. If we trigger them, just run, don't look back. A nightmare swarm of arachnids blocks the path ahead. Shu's panic spikes. Incoming, Eva shouts. One stray spider breaks the line, charging straight for them. Eva intercepts, yelling, Shu, hide. She swings her blade with everything she's got. Clang. The exoskeleton is like armor. The impact jars the weapon from her grip, sending her sprawling. She's defenseless. Shu sprints toward her, but the spider launches a web volley, pinning Eva to the stone floor. The beast towers over her, mandibles clicking. Tears stream down her face as she waits for the end. Shu can't just watch. Appraisal activate. He scans the enemy. A weak point lights up. The abdomen, it's weak to fire. He frantically digs through his inventory, praying for a miracle. Bingo. A gas can and a lighter. Poor man's flamethrower lets go. He charges the beast. He aims and flicks the lighter. Click. Nothing. Empty. He used it all on roaches yesterday. The spider lunges at the helpless girl. She screams and Shu tosses the useless junk aside. He throws his body between them. He's got the weakest class, 0 combat skills. He is basically useless in a dungeon raid. But he isn't letting her die alone. Eva freezes, realizing he's suicide shielding her. Shu, no. Suddenly, THW, a high-speed projectile drills through the spider's gut. They both whip their heads around. It's Shizuka. She's weaving bullets from her own blood, peppering the monster with lethal precision. The spider staggers, health draining fast with every hit, until it finally collapses dead. All eyes turn to the savior. That blood magic. That's why they call her Bloody Kuromin. The squad moves out, Shu and Eva lagging in the back. She's insane. Eva whispers, eyes wide. Yeah, Shu nods. That's an A rank for you. Eva looks down, guilt washing over her. I'm sorry. I almost got you killed. Shu waves it off with a smile. Hey, Kuramine saved us both, not me. But I promise to protect you, she insists, clenching her fists. Next time, I won't fail. Shu thinks she's adorable, even if she is totally crushing his manhood right now. Up ahead, the squad engages another mob. Shu Eva asks, why are you a hunter? You don't have attack skills. Shu freezes. The steady beep, beep, of a heart monitor echoes in his mind. A memory flashes someone lying in a hospital bed. Eva's voice snaps him back to reality. Halt, the leader barks. Another hunter curses under his breath. I knew it. B rank incoming. A chill shoots down Shu's spine. He can literally feel the pressure radiating from the dark. Roar. A massive wyvern crashes into the hall, screeching at the intruders. It's a prehistoric nightmare. Shu triggers appraisal. Weakness belly. Skills fireball, wing buffet. Wait, it's immune to fire magic. Shu grits his teeth. This is bad. This thing is a tank, with massive mana reserves and raw physical power. Plus it has 2 AoE skills that can wipe the party. They expected a B rank, but appraisal says this is an elite variant. Standard logic says you need a full team for this. Specifically at least 3 B rank hunters just to survive this encounter. The squad has 3 B rank swordsman healer support, but they're mid-tier at best. Thank God for Shizuka. With an A rank carry, they might actually stand a chance against this beast. Shizuka steps up, radiating confidence. Stand back. Just as hope rises, a blood-curdling scream tears through the air behind them. The squad whipped around to see a nightmare unfolding. Another wyvern. Shu's jaw hit the floor. This couldn't be real. 2 of them. They were totally pinned down, sandwiched between monsters. The girl screamed, panic rising in her voice. Nobody said anything about high-ranking freaks hunting us. Her teammate snapped back. It's an A-rank dungeon. What did you expect? Shizuka didn't waste a breath. She blitzed toward the second beast. She flashed past Shu, barking orders. I'm taking this one down. Just buy me some time. Don't die. Shu froze. Buy time. How the monster didn't give him a second to process it. Lunged instantly, just like Eva warned. Thanks to her heads up, he barely ducked under the wyvern's massive bone-crushing tail. But the beast wasn't done. Its leg muscles bunched up, prepping for a pounce. Suddenly, Takayama stepped up, his blade erupting in magical flames. The swordsman stood between the porters and death. He leaped at the wyvern fire, blazing, but Shu's heart sank fire. Useless. That thing is totally immune to elemental damage. Gritting his teeth, Shu started spiraling. There's no way they survive until Kuromine gets back. Wait. A spark of an idea hit him. There was one play they could make. Eva planted herself in front of him, raising her weapon to defend him. She was shaking like a leaf, tears streaming down her face. Seeing her terror, that was the trigger. He had to act. No more hesitation. Shu stepped out from cover and roared. Listen to me. It has 2 main skills, fireball and wing flap. It shoots up to 5 fireballs in a rapid burst, and watch the wings. When it flaps, it's not just wind, it buffs its body for a dash. It's immune to magic and fire. You have to use physical attacks. He guessed it was a B-rank nightmare. Items were locked, and nobody knew the stats. But intel is the ultimate weapon. It could flip this entire battle. The only issue, they were on the brink of death. Why would elite hunters trust a level 1 porter? But miraculously, Takayama didn't hesitate. Cancel the fire, Takayama commanded. We stall with ice magic and heavy physical hits until the captain handles the other one. His buddy looked at him like he was crazy. Seriously, you're taking orders from the brat. Takayama fired back. Look at him, unarmed, and he tried to fight a spider to save that girl. A moron like that doesn't have the brains to make up specific stats like that. Shu blinked, stunned by the unexpected backup. Even the skeptic had to agree. Since magic bounced right off the ice, spells were barely scratching it. They just had to chip away at its health bar and pray the captain returned in one piece. Takayama shouted over the chaos. Kid, any other intel? Shu snapped to attention, adrenaline spiking. He saw the wyvern's maw glowing. It's charging up, fire breath incoming. The mages instantly threw up a thick wall of ice. The flames roared against the shield, keeping them safe. Shu focused hard. Having hit level 20, he unlocked observation. It was like seeing the future. He saw the monster freeze up. Watch out, it's about to use wing flap. It's enchanting its scales to smash that magic shield dodge. Boom, exact prediction. The vanguards braced their steel shields just as the beast lunged. The monster slammed headfirst into the wall, impaling itself on the heavy spikes. Direct hit. Blood spilled. We heard it, Shu cheered, feeling the rush. Kuromine can finish it now. Damn right, Shizuka's voice cut through the noise. She stepped out of the shadows. I'm done with mine. She walked straight up to the wyvern, fearless, and the squad cheered in relief. The cavalry had arrived. The wyvern screeched, but Shizuka just reached out a hand. Blood absorption. The second the words left her lips, the creature's essence was ripped from its veins, rushing into her. It shriveled into a dried husk within seconds. It collapsed with a thud. As the body dissolved into dust, a glowing red crystal materialized. System alert: Red Wyvern defeated. XP gained. The notification pinged for everyone. Shu stared at the red crystal dazed. While the team hyped him up, his mind was racing. He was actually useful. Plus, that sweet level up notification hit different. Later, as the team caught their breath, Eva was beaming at him. That was insane. You're just a porter, but we would have been toast without you. Shu rubbed the back of his neck awkward. I just read the stats. No big deal. Don't be so modest, she laughed, eyes shining. You literally saved us. With the wyvern down, Shu became the MVP, spamming appraisal on every floor to guide the team. He stayed in the back lines. So the XP share was low, but he still leveled up like crazy. They finally hit floor 15. This guild was elite, no doubt. But looking at his new skills, Shu realized something wild. He might just be the strongest one here. Speak of the devil. The second she crossed his mind, her voice materialized right beside his ear. She strolled up, a confident smirk playing on her lips. She told him bringing him along was the meta play. His appraisal skill, absolute game changer for the squad. He mumbled back, assuming she meant his gathering utility. That's cute, she countered, pointing a finger. But that intel skill is gold. And don't even get me started on your third ability. She dropped the bomb, don't let me down. The words hit him hard. He stared at her, totally blindsided, his mind racing. Did she slot him into the vanguard purely for the buffs? Wait, does that mean Eva is hiding an ace up her sleeve too? Shizuka signaled the rally. Eva shouldered her pack and rose while Shu stood there analyzing the 4D chess game Shizuka was playing with the party roster. Was this whole team curated by an algorithmic genius? They pushed forward, slicing through mob after mob. Ping, ping, ping. The XP notifications were flooding Shu's vision. It wasn't a trickle, it was a waterfall. He was leveling up fast. His intel was actually turning the tide. Takayama slapped him on the back, grinning. You're a beast, kid. Yo, drop your digits later, his friend added. Shu soaked up the clout. He loved this energy. Every 5 levels meant a skill bump, and every 10 levels unlocked a new ability. He prayed the 4th slot would be offensive, something to actually fight with. Stay behind me, Eva commanded, as they advanced. Then chill down the spine. Danger. His instincts screamed. A massive shadow peeled off the pillar right next to the girl. An ogre, huge, stone in hand, ready to crush. Shu froze, brain lagging. Where did that thing spawn? The ogre launched the boulder straight at Eva. Shu didn't think he moved, but the math was bad. The ogre put everything into that throw. Shu didn't have the HP to tank it. 1 hit equals game over. Eva gasped, caught completely off guard. In a desperate Hail Mary to soften the impact, he threw his hand out to intercept the projectile and triggered his gathering skill. The inventory sucked in the rock, but kinetic energy doesn't just vanish. Bam! The recoil launched him backward. He slammed into the pillar with a bone-rattling crunch. Eva's brain short-circuited. Splash! His blood painted her cheek. The crash alerted the squad, but they whipped around straight into an ogre ambush. Regroup, they shouted. Shu checked his status. Alive. Barely. He gripped his arm. It was a close call. Snap. Definitely broken. Eva snapped. Pure rage flooded her eyes. I will never forgive you, she screamed at the monsters. Golden aura exploded from her blade. Class skill engaged. She launched herself at the monster like a guided missile. Slash. 1 swing, instant delete. The ogre disintegrated. Her expression stone cold, zero fear. Shizuka glanced back. Shu locked eyes with the leader and clicked the puzzle pieces. Eva, 17 years old, level 16, class divine summoner. A god-tier beast inhabited her weapon. That explained the insane DPS. But his appraisal caught the glitch. Her control was shaky. She'd been hiding her power because she was terrified of friendly fire. Her voice snapped him back. She rushed over, panic written all over her face. Your arm, oh my god. Medic, she cried. He tried to play it cool. I'm good, really. Whoosh! A potion sailed through the air. He snatched it out of reflex, confused. Shizuka's voice cut through the chaos. Chug it. Now. It's a full restore. Shu hesitated, staring at the vial. Are you serious? This item costs a fortune. Shizuka dropped to his level, eyes intense. Drink. If you wipe, we lose all the loot stored in your inventory skill. Ouch. That stung more than the broken bone. He struggled to bite the cork off, feeling small. So I'm just a walking treasure chest to her. Eva reached out to help, but Shizuka was faster. Pop. She opened it, a smirk returning. Relax, she said. I need your muscle too, not just your pockets. He felt like a total noob. She totally played him. She pivoted instantly. Sorry guys, mission's running long. Looks like we're pulling an all-nighter. We camping here? Shu asked. The guild members started circling up the wagons. Shizuka got real with him. Honestly, I didn't think we'd make it this deep. It's all on you, rookie. Nah, you guys carried, he stammered. Wrong, she fired back immediately. Zero chance we clear this without you. See this crew, we hit the Sky Fortress before. We got wrecked, had to retreat with massive losses. We haven't leveled up since then. The only variable this time, you. She flashed a winning smile. I want you in the guild, think it over. Eva was beaming for him. Shu watched Shizuka walk away, his mind reeling. He was trashed here. His stats were garbage, his skills were utility only. Yet one of the top adventurers in Japan just scouted him. He was floating. Pure euphoria. He totally forgot the golden rule. It's when you feel safe that the tragedy strikes. They pushed on. Floor 25. Looming ahead, the massive gate to the boss room. Staring up at the colossal golden gate, the squad knew the trek here had been hell on earth. Every raider knows exactly what nightmare waits behind those doors. The dungeon's final boss is lurking inside, just biding its time. Drop the boss and the clock starts ticking down fast. Clearing this dungeon isn't about looting. It's about triggering the hidden self-destruct sequence. But here's the kicker. Sometimes these dungeons glitch out and stay put even after the detonation. The MC side-eyed the guild leader thinking, are we seriously doing this? An A-rank dungeon is basically a meat grinder. No one walks away from this boss fight breathing. Check the log, survival rate is a solid 0%. Shizuka crunched the numbers and made the call, pull back to camp. They'd hit this spot again later, but only after stacking the team with more bodies. The squad let out a collective breath, and Takayama nodded, expecting that smart play. As they fell back, a teammate suggested giving the guy a break. He turned to Shu asking, you gonna back them up? Shu flashed a smile and nodded, but then boom, a booming voice cut through the air, leaving so soon. Heads snapped toward the noise. It was coming straight from the boss room. You could feel the squad's nerves instantly fry. Shizuka signaled sharply, shouting for combat positions. Blades were drawn in a heartbeat. Everyone locked in. The MC's mind raced. Why is a monster speaking human and fluent Japanese at that? Shizuka stepped up. She stood by the gate demanding to know who was there. The boss fired back. Take a wild guess. If she's a raider, come in and find out. Shu started sweating bullets. What's the play here? Is he baiting us? He couldn't. Appraise a target he couldn't see. Shizuka wasn't biting. She yelled back that she had zero interest in entering yet. She spun around, signaling the team to move out. Bosses are code-locked to their rooms, right? They should be safe as long as those doors stay shut. But this monster, he just shattered the rulebook. Fine, he said. I'll come to you. Shizuka whipped around, stunned. The massive gates groaned open, blasting them with a chilling wind and pure dark energy. Stepping out of the shadows was a dark elf named Da, flashing a polite, terrifying smile. Pleasure to meet you, he purred. The MC stared, brain short-circuiting. This shouldn't be possible. Shizuka braced for impact, demanding an identity. Da just shrugged. Honestly, no clue. He wasn't trolling them, though. He knew zip about his past, but one fact was crystal clear. I exist to kill humans. The second those words left his lips, two raiders near the guild leader dropped dead, heads gone. They didn't even have time to register the pain. The squad stared at the stumps in total shock. Seconds later, the screaming started. Pure panic. Shizuka, terrified but leading, tried to lock it down. Stick to the plan, she yelled. Then a severed head rolled right up to Shu's boots. He looked down and gagged. It was all going so well he'd forgotten the brutal truth. Death is just Tuesday in a dungeon. Just like with his parents, this place is a human graveyard. Suddenly, clang. The sound snapped him out of it. Eva had dropped her sword, collapsing in sheer terror. The MC steeled himself. It wasn't over. Time to put his skills to work. Shizuka shouted at him, voice cracking. Read his stats. When he froze, she screamed louder. Eva reached out a shaking hand, telling him to get behind her. But Shu hit his knees, paralyzed by what he saw. The Dark Elf stats were insane. A rank magic, B rank strength, plus 4 separate witchcraft skills. The elf smirked, basically daring them to take a shot. The MC thought, you gotta be kidding me. How do we drop this thing? Taking down an A-rank beast requires a trio of A-rank hunters. The only person here who stands a ghost of a chance is Kuromine. Victory odds, basically 0. Sudden magic circles flared up around the elf. Shu screamed a warning just as the spell fired. Da flicked his wrist, blasting a torrent of energy that shattered the floor and sent the squad flying. Thanks to Shu's heads up, nobody died yet. As Shu scrambled up, realizing the monster's insane power, he found the dark elf standing right in his face. Da glared down, face shadowing over. How'd you spot that? The magic circle was supposed to be invisible. You've got some special eyes, don't you? Da's eyelids snapped open. Glowing yellow irises bore into him. The MC knew instantly they were completely out of their league. He yelled to Kuromine. Fall back, he's too strong. Shizuka clutched her head, staring at the boss in despair. Da just charged up another spell. Leaving already? How rude, he teased. The fun's just getting started. Massive stone slabs slammed down the corridor, sealing the path tight. Escape just went from hard to impossible. One adventurer desperately rammed his spear against the rock, but the weapon snapped like a toothpick. The dark elf scoffed. That barrier wasn't budging. The power gap was suffocating. Only a heavy hitter could crack this shell, maybe two. His eyes darted to Shizuka. Eva and Shu caught the look, but panic set in. Eva's power was a ticking time bomb she couldn't defuse yet, so she was benched immediately. He spun to the guildmaster. They'd buy the seconds, but she had to bring the boom. Smash that rock, he urged. She frowned, realizing he was dead right. It was their only shot at survival. Still, she couldn't tear her gaze away from the monster in front of them. Then, two swordsmen stepped into the fray. These guys were top-tier national legends for a reason. A split second of hesitation, then she bolted for the barrier, trusting them to hold the line. Done yapping, the dark elf drawled. Energy flared in his palm. Incoming Shu screamed. He's charging a mid-level water spell. They had 3 seconds on the clock. A mage slammed a wooden shield into existence, barely tanking the blast for them. The elf rolled his eyes. You pests are getting on my nerves. Time to take out the trash. He switched tactics, summoning nightmare fuel. Carnivorous dragonflies burst from the water, locking onto Shu. Panic hit, they were blurringly fast. But Eva swooped in, shattering the attack effortlessly. Thank God for backup. Decent bodyguard, the elf sneered, clearly ticked off. This time he charged a mid-level fire spell. Shu shouted a warning to the squad, but the dark elf played him. He was close but dead wrong. Flames licked the barrier, followed instantly by a crushing gale. Shu's gut dropped. Move. Now, he screamed at the mages. Another spell was already airborne. Shu squeezed his eyes shut, praying he'd misread the mana flow. A water shield against that wind, useless. But the swordsman jumped in. Unrivaled armor. The spell smashed into his iron shield, deflecting harmlessly off the ultimate defense. Trust your team, kid, Takayama grunted. Unrivaled armor, the tank's holy grail. It was a dual knight skill that turned flesh to steel and nullified damage completely. The knights shared a grin, savoring the small win. Then reality warped. Shu caught a flicker. Takayama. The knight turned to check and his head vanished. Clean off. His friends froze brains, failing to process the sight. They didn't even see the second hit. A massive bloody crater punched through his chest. Pure horror washed over the squad. Shu stumbled back, voice shaking. How? He hadn't felt a thing. The dark elf spread his arms like a conductor. Stealth casting, he smirked. 0 magical trace, 0 warning. A premature detonation. You can see my mana, right? Too bad you can't stop it. It hit Shu like a truck. He was just a weak appraiser. He'd been coasting on luck, getting cocky. Now that arrogance just got his friends killed. Ding. A system window popped. Experience gained. Was someone farming monsters watching his streams right now? No time to dwell on it, but whoever it was just saved his life. The XP bar filled up. Level up. New skill unlocked. Boom. Across the room, Shizuka smashed through the barrier. Path's clear, she yelled, turning back to the fight. I'll hold him, get the hell out of here. She charged the elf weaving blood magic into her strikes, while the survivors scrambled for the exit. They sprinted for the gap, but the dark elf wasn't having it. Going somewhere. Another wall slammed up, sealing them in again. He glared at Shizuka. You're annoying. I'm focusing on you now. Eva collapsed, totally spent, while Shu's eyes locked onto his new skill description. He snapped out of it, reaching a hand down to her. Eva. He flashed a confident grin. Get up. We're summoning the divine beast. Her eyes went wide. Are you crazy? I can't control it. If it goes rogue, we're all dead. Shu knew she was right. At her current level, that beast was suicide. But he had a plan. Trust me, he said, voice steady. It's gonna be fine. She stared at him, conflict raging behind her eyes. Was it worth the risk? Screams from the squad cut through her thoughts. The elf was tearing them apart. Shizuka, barely deflecting blows, screamed. Back to the wall. Shu didn't hesitate, rushing toward her. He had to save them. Eva made her choice. She unleashed the power. Behind him, a massive shadow rose the great white serpent Orochi. Eva's knuckles turned white as she tightened her fists. I'm an adventurer too, she declared with 0 hesitation, thrusting her hand out to Shu. I'm betting everything on you. Their hands locked in a pact of steel. Shu didn't waste a beat, pivoting to bark orders at the squad captain. We've got the dark elf. You shatter that barrier. The villain finally looked up, calculating the sheer scale of the monster looming over him. Shizuka sprinted past the chaos, eyes wide with panic. Is that the divine beast? While she freaked out, Shu locked in. I'm hijacking Orochi's mind, he warned Eva. Don't lose your focus. She nodded, a thrill of danger spiking her pulse. He triggered his shiny new ability, mimicry. Now he could clone the skills of anyone he'd previously scanned. Game on. United they were unstoppable. But the colossal serpent wasn't going down without a fight. It started thrashing wildly. It fought the mental leash. Chill, they commanded in perfect sync. Instantly, the massive head bowed in submission. Eva's face lit up pure victory. Shu gave the signal and she unleashed the command Orochi delete that dark elf. The serpent lunged like a striking cobra. But the elf wasn't slow. He fired a high-velocity stone bullet straight at the beast. Orochi didn't flinch. It froze, deflected the spell effortlessly, and left the elf looking shook. Then came the counterattack. The enemy dodged by a hair. Shu calculated the odds, mana versus divine energy. No contest. The elf was cooked. Move it, Captain Shu hollered. But the dark elf was already charging up for round 2. No one leaves alive, he hissed. Eva didn't hesitate. Orochi shut down his casting. Strike landed. The elf's magic circle shattered like glass. He was powerless. Finally, the stone barrier crumbled, revealing an exit. Path clear, Shizuka signaled. Shu shot a grin at Eva. That's our cue. Let's dip. They made a clean getaway. Da stood there, scratching his head, totally confused as his prey vanished. Suddenly, the serpent turned on him. He sidestepped the bite, wondering how to deal with this overgrown lizard. Boom. Player 2 enters. Ha! A second dark elf flashed in and delivered a strike so precise it split Orochi's skull clean in half. She shot Da a look of pure disgust. I take my eyes off you for literally 1 second. And you almost get clapped. Da just laughed it off. Hey, turns out physical attacks are its kryptonite. She let out a massive sigh. Let's go back to the hall. The duo headed for the boss room. Da mused. Think that guy's gonna show his face again? Cut to later, Shu relaxing back at his crib. He checked his balance. 1 million yen. 7 figures. At the start, he was only meant to bag 150,000 yen. But the bounty spiked to 500,000. 2 days of work, 1 million yen richer. He stared at the ceiling, wondering, was that price actually fair? The Sky Fortress raid was a disaster. Veteran adventurers wiped out their bodies unrecoverable. Funerals with empty caskets hit different. Standing there surrounded by grief, Shu swore an oath. He would return to the Sky Fortress and end that elf personally. On the flip side, he dropped a new video. Boom. Viral sensation. 1 million views overnight, since they encountered 57 monster types in the fortress. He had enough content for 57 separate uploads. And thanks to that dark elf clip, he finally hit monetization status. He reinvested the cash commissioning pro edits for 20 videos, 50,000 yen a pop. The result, his sub count skyrocketed. Put simply, the more people watched his guides and killed monsters, the more XP flowed directly to him. Passive gains. He hit level 77. His stats were balanced to perfection, magic and physical strength both at 860. Looking at those numbers, he was hyped. With this power spike, he spent the next few days on a serious grind. His appraisal skill evolved, revealing hidden data. His inventory expanded, it was now the size of a gymnasium. And clairvoyance broken. He could scan the boss before even stepping foot in the dungeon. Basically, he was stacked. Eventually, he set his sights on a B-rank dungeon in Shinjuku, a spot the pros had cleared ages ago. Floor 30 rats, floor 60 minotaurs, floor 90 savage birds. Higher floors meant deadlier mobs. But he was only here for one thing, to test his new spirit summoning skill. He stepped into the massive hall and took a deep breath. Then, voice booming, he commanded the spirits to answer his call. Boom! Smoke erupted near his hand. Black fur, gray skin, Xenokurus had answered. The creature grinned at its new master, thanking him for the invite. Xenokurus isn't a divine beast, technically, but don't get it twisted, it's a powerhouse. The catch, it doesn't work for free. The spirit started circling Shu, waiting for payment. While hyping up the guy's ego, he casually dropped the real question. How long was the grind going to last today? 8 solid hours. Suddenly, the spirit crushed him in a bear hug, practically seeing dollar signs. That means you owe me 80,000 yen, boss. And there's the catch. This guy doesn't run on mana like a normal summon. He runs on cold, hard cash. Total mercenary mindset, no pay, no play. He pointed at the fresh wave of mobs. I'll smash the new guys. You handle the cleanup. Xenochorus's tail went into overdrive like a happy puppy. Toss in an extra 5,000 yen an hour, and I'll kick way more ass. In your dreams, too pricey. The spirit clicked his tongue, clearly salty, but turned back to the slaughter. A squad of scaly lizard men hissed from the shadows. Xenochorus grinned. Watch close, master. I'm about to show you what rank A power really looks like. MC smirked. He didn't doubt the guy for a second. Suddenly, the spirit's aura flared, morphing into massive spectral energy claws. He launched the energy streams, snatching the monsters out of the air and shredding them to ribbons with razor-sharp force. Seconds later, nothing was left but loot drops and a sweet 45,000 XP. Shu realized it then, this guy was definitely in the same league as that dark elf. The streaming channel was the key cash flow power leveling dungeon clears. Suddenly, her face flashed through his mind. It wasn't just about him, he could actually help her now. A relentless string of notification pings snapped him back to reality. It was a DM from Eva. Wait, is this channel seriously yours? Turns out, she was an OG subscriber way before the hype. His guides were the only reason she survived her first slime encounter. She was pouring her heart out with gratitude, and honestly, MC just thought she was adorable. Then he noticed Xenochorus grinning like a Cheshire cat. The spirit elbowed him. Ooh, is that a lady friend? Don't get distracted. You should be spending that cash on me, not a girlfriend. She's not my girlfriend, he shot back. And trust me, you already drain every cent I make. The spirit rolled his eyes. Look, nobody asked me, but you're a hopeless businessman. I see right through you. MC hit him with a savage smile. Nobody asked you either, but for the record, you're tragically weak. That's exactly why I need to buy your strength. Xenochorus paused, giving him a long, thoughtful look. Don't think this sob story gets you a discount, kid. Right on cue, another notification lit up the screen. He scanned the text intently. Another girl, the spirit teased. Nope, MC replied. It's my video editor. He wants to lock in an exclusive contract. Guy's actually an adventurer too. Time skip. They stumbled out of the dungeon portal. Shu stretched his aching back, clearing 60 floors straight. Totally exhausting. 3 days of nonstop grinding. Xenochorus, on the other hand, was buzzing. These trips were a goldmine for him. He checked the time shifts over. He started packing up in a rush, leaving the spirit staring in shock. Wait, you already bought a smartwatch? Xenochorus shook it off and waved. Whatever, just summon me when you've got more cash. MC unhooked the camera rig. He'd filmed like 100 clips, but he only needed to send the top dozen to his editor. Contract details were swirling in his head as he met up with Eva to head toward the Fresh Blood Idols Guild. They were there to see Shizuka. When the invite dropped, Eva was floored. She still had zero control over her divine beast. But Shu had her back. Shizuka glanced at him, seizing the moment. Well, in that case, you really just need to say yes to the invite. With your appraisal skill, our squad can finally go all out. Trust me, everyone is dying to have you on the roster. He rubbed the back of his neck awkward. Shizuka smiled softly. No pressure. You can take your time to process it. I'll be waiting for that good news. She walked off, leaving the two of them alone. Eva turned to him immediately. So what's the verdict? That's a top-tier guild invite. Like world class. We'd be crazy to say no, right? MC stared at the ground, nodding slowly. Yeah, you're right. They split up, but her words stuck with him. Joining Fresh Blood Idols is the ultimate dream, but his schedule was packed. He had to meet Kurumine, but first, he needed to sit down with his editor. He was dying to know what this exclusive contract was all about. He grabbed a spot at the cafe. Suddenly, a voice piped up from behind, apologizing for the delay. MC turned with a chill smile. Don't sweat it, I got here early. The guy was Sato Shinji, and he immediately started thanking Shu for the consistent work. As Sato sat down, Shu noted how incredibly polite he was. He looked young, maybe 25 tops. Coffee arrived. MC tried to cut through the small talk, but Sato hesitated, taking a long, nervous sip from his cup. Suddenly, Sato shot up from his chair. You are absolutely incredible, he shouted. Do you see your analytics? Your daily views are insane. You're literally the #1 adventurer on the platform. I can't believe how fast you pump out quality content. He realized he was causing a scene and apologized instantly. Bottom line, he was desperate. There simply weren't enough video editors to handle this kind of heat. With over 10 videos filmed today, he was drowning in content. The best play, launch his own guild, and assemble a squad of editors. He also needs a legal shark to handle the boring paperwork. Up until recently, he was just a solo rogue, so scaling up never even crossed his mind. He dropped a bomb on his editor, admitting he got scouted by Fresh Blood Idols. Shinji nearly choked, eyes popping. For real, did he take the deal? Shu shrugged, saying he was still mulling it over. That triggered Shinji. He shot up from his chair, practically begging Shu to start his own guild. That's the only way to max out his stats. Shu blinked, totally lost. What potential? Shinji flashed a knowing smile, explaining that he used to be in a guild, but his class was trashed here, so he bailed. Maybe it was just him. But he froze up even in the easiest dungeons. Most people with low-tier classes get stuck and can't even level up. But Shu's videos, they're a playbook for combat noobs to actually survive. He's their literal savior. Shinji got so hyped he started shouting. A waitress marched over, telling him to keep it down or get out. He mumbled a quick sorry, composed himself, and slid back into the booth. He looked Shu dead in the eye. That's why he needs an exclusive contract. Shinji's dream died, but he refuses to let other players crash and burn like he did. He'll grind day and night to help, so forget those other guilds and build his own empire. Shu cut him off mid-sentence, grinning as he dropped the verdict. Agreed. He's signing that exclusive deal right now. Shinji braced for rejection, so his jaw hit the floor. Is he serious? Even after a mega guild tried to recruit him, Shu admitted he was actually stoked. It caught Shinji off guard. Kuromi and Eva only saw him as a tool, a prop for combat classes. But Shinji, he saw Shu's skills as legendary on their own merit. That sealed the deal. He's building his own guild. Step 1. Lawyer up. A decent attorney runs about 50,000 yen a month. If Shu's wallet is fat enough, Shinji suggested doubling down. Specifically, someone who knows the streamer game. Shu checked his phone and made the call. No small fry firms. He dialed up an agency sitting in Tokyo's top 2 rankings. Enter Kitakami and Sakura. They looked sharp, introducing themselves to the rising star. Shu felt a pang of embarrassment. He didn't even have a business card yet. They ushered him into a private office. Shu broke down his channel metrics, explaining how he analyzes monsters. Last month alone, ad revenue smashed past 10 million yen. They suggested getting cozy with his operation. He spilled the beans on his campaigns. And the rest of the cash flow. Kitakami stood up, flashing a predator's smile. He offered their full services immediately. He'd let Sakura handle the nitty-gritty contract details so Shu could make the final call. It was all on her. Sakura nodded. Yes, manager. She was jumping the gun, but she asked to brief him as his personal counsel. A while later, they hammered out the critical points and reached a verdict. If he liked her vibe, the contract was ready. Shu hesitated internally, honestly. He was legally illiterate. He couldn't tell if he was being played or not. But Sakura actually listened and broke down the jargon into plain English. That clicked, he was in the right place. He stood up with swagger, turned to Sakura, and dropped the confirmation. He's signing. Sakura checked to be sure that he was cool with her specifically. He bowed, saying he was counting on her. Sakura's jaw actually dropped. She paused, then recovered with a polite smile. Okay, here's to a killer partnership. Launching a corp means issuing shares. Usually the CEO holds the bag, meaning he owns 100% right. Shu shook his head. He wanted to cut his editor in. It was Shinji's idea to start this guild after all. Sakura crossed her arms processing. She asked if he could transfer 5. Actually make that 30% of the shares to them. Shu blinked. 30. Is that strictly necessary? Sakura reassured him that since he'd still hold the majority, giving up 30% wouldn't sink him. He nodded. Got it. Later that evening, Sakura walked into the director's office as the sun set. Kitakami asked for the sitrep. Sakura reported the truth: the kid is legally clueless and dangerously honest. If they introduce him to the right sharks, they can easily snatch up half his company's shares. Kitakami clapped ecstatic. Perfect, it's all falling into place. He patted Sakura on the shoulder, his voice dropping to a terrifying whisper as he said, she was just a speed bump in his plans. But if she pulled this off, he'd wipe the slate clean on every screw-up she'd ever made. Sakura froze, cold sweat dripping down her face. Terror gripped her, but she managed a shaky nod. She got the message loud and clear. Shoulders slumped, she dragged herself out of the office and bolted for the ladies' room. Safe inside a stall, the lock clicked shut. She curled into a ball, knees to her chest, panic setting in. She'd always been a yes woman, following orders blindly. Yet she hadn't closed a single deal. 0 wins on the board. A total failure. If she botched this, she was toast-fired immediately. Trembling, she stepped out and faced her reflection in the mirror. Look at you, she whispered, pointing at her haggard face. Her mom named her Sakura, hoping for a smile that bloomed like a flower. It was a beautiful name, one she used to wear with pride. Meanwhile, Kitakabe stood up from his desk, staring out the window like a kingpin. He was on a call with the big boss. Japan is crawling with adventurers lately, he muttered. And yet we haven't locked down a partnership with a single major guild. Not one. The master plan: flood the market with puppet guilds and dominate the industry. Failure wasn't an option. Relax, Kitakabe smirked into the phone. I found a live one today. Super ambitious kid wants to build his own empire. We'll turn him into our personal puppet, guaranteed. His grin was pure, unfiltered venom. Later that day, Shu met up with Sakura. She didn't waste time dropping the bomb. I need you to sell 30% of your remaining shares. That would strip him of his majority control. Sakura threw her hands up, desperate to sell the lie. It's just to split the workload. I can bring in a pro to handle the heavy lifting for you. Pass, Shu said flatly. Sakura's heart sank. She hung her head, totally defeated. She set her cup down in silence. Then Shu smiled. Actually, I want to give the 30% to you. Sakura froze. Me. Her voice shook. They were basically strangers. Why would he do that? I trust my gut, Shu grinned. See, the guy wasn't just guessing, he was a seeker with a unique appraisal skill. On paper, the deal looked like garbage to Shu. He wanted to build something real. But was he just walking into a trap? Handing over 30% to a total stranger was straight up insanity. The smart move: hoard 100% of the rights and trust no one. Why was he so chill with someone he just met? If he signed Sakura and his editor would hold 60% combined, they could stage a hostile takeover instantly. Sakura splashed water on her face, mind racing. She stared at her dripping reflection. She had no choice. It was time to rope Shinji into this mess. Later, Shu caught his editor Shinji at the law firm. What are you doing here? He asked, totally thrown off. Shinji waved casually. Sakura said, it's signing time. Shu blinked. He never gave her Shinji's contact info. Enter Kitakabe. Sorry for the wait, gentlemen. He flashed a plastic corporate smile. Right this way. They sat down. Shu eyed the suit across the table. Didn't expect an audience, Kitakabe. Let's cut to the chase, Kitakabe said smoothly. Sign this and you two become the official bosses. Sakura here will be your corporate lawyer. He turned to her, eyes cold. Well, hand over the contract. Sakura stood tall, chest heaving. No, I won't do it. The room went dead silent. Excuse me, Kitakabe hissed. Shaking, she slammed a resignation letter onto the table. Are you crazy? Kitakabe roared, jumping up. Sakura bowed deeply to Shu. I'm so sorry I've been lying to you this whole time. He ordered me to steal your company. It was all a setup. Shu didn't flinch. Yeah, I figured. Sakura blinked, tears stopping instantly. Wait, what did you say? My appraisal skill evolved, Shu explained coolly. At level 10, I don't just value items. I can see worldviews. I know exactly who has ulterior motives. Bad guys. They're surrounded by a nasty dark aura. Honest people shine bright. He pointed at the boss. Since day one, that guy's been covered in shadow. Total snake. But you, Sakura, your aura is pure light. I knew he was playing us, but I knew I could trust you. Sakura broke down, sobbing, the emotional dam bursting. Kitakabe snapped, face turning red. Get the hell out of my office. He jabbed a finger at her. After everything I let slide, you ungrateful brat. You walk away now, and I'll make you pay for every cent of damage. I will ruin you. Shu throws his hand up, cutting through the tension. He's paying her debt. The office goes dead silent. Then he drops the bomb. Sakura is officially his corporate attorney now. That cash, just a signing bonus. He only rolls with reliable people. Plus, hiring an outsider gives him a strategic edge. Sakura just stands there, jaw on the floor, totally shook. Her voice cracks as she whispers that she can't do it. Shu's like, excuse me, why? She confesses she tried to hustle him earlier, but it was on her boss's orders. Shu presses, okay, but did you actually go through with it? Shinji steps into the frame, grabbing Shu's shoulder. Shinji grins. That's exactly the kind of loyalty we need. Shu turned down the massive Bloody Idols contract just to chase his own dream, remember? So is she in or out? Shu extends his hand again, offering her a literal lifeline. Tears spill over as a smile breaks through her panic. She grabs his hand, deal sealed. Kitakabe loses it, screaming at them to shut their traps. Does she know who she's messing with? He vows to make her unhireable in this town. He's literally vibrating with rage until a familiar sound cuts through the noise, his own voice on tape. It's audio of him bragging to corporate about making Shu his puppet. Sakura holds up the recorder with a savage smirk. Caught in 4K, sabotaging clients for personal gain. That's straight up illegal, buddy. Not to mention abusing his power to pressure her into hotel visits. That is textbook harassment. Cat got his tongue. Kitakabe turns purple with anger, but can't squeeze out a single word of defense. The boys turn to leave, tossing a casual good riddance over their shoulders. Outside, the city air hits different. Shinji laughs, noting days like this are rare. Shu just nods, dropping one of his classic proverbs. Suddenly, Sakura spins around, screaming Shu's name. She vows to make up for everything she owes him big time. She promises to grind 100% to make his guild legendary. Shu chuckles. Girl's got serious stamina. First mission, Sakura HQ. Shu's already compiling listings, but they need a killer name first. Shinji raises a brow. A name. We better pick something that slaps if we're doing this. Sakura suggests brainstorming a master list, but Shu sheepishly raises a hand, his voice wobbling a bit. He confesses he's already locked in a name. The squad exchanges looks. For real. Cut to a shiny new plaque on the wall, reading Art Analysis. Shu stares at it, starry-eyed. It hits him hard. He's actually a guildmaster now. This empire is his. Shinji strolls in. Yo, director, you still gazing lovingly at that sign. Shu grins, admitting he's just soaking up the vibes. They snagged an entire floor of a high-rise to serve as base ops. The crew is small, just 5 editors so far, but they're actively scouting for talent. Shinji's running point as head of editing. Sakura is crushing the admin work, while Shu does what he does best, diving into dungeons to stack up footage. Deep inside a new dungeon, Shu activates his Zaniculus skill, launching a magic orb against the wall. Zaniculus pops out, buzzing with hype to see his master. Yo, how long are we grinding today? 10, maybe 20 hours? Shu shrugs. Then he gets serious. What's the price tag on that powered-up form? Full power. That'll run you 1 million yen, the spirit replies. Shu balks. Say what now? To clap that dark elf boss, Shu needs every ounce of firepower. Holding back isn't an option. He needs to see what this spirit can really do. Fine, Shu sighs, knowing he has to invest. I'll drop the million, but you better dazzle me. Zaniculus yells, wait, you're actually paying. Shu grins. He's had a good month financially. Plus, he told the little guy he trusted him right. Zaniculus freezes, genuinely touched. He admits he's never met a master like this before. Usually, people just whine about the fees. He slaps Shu on the back, instant respect. I'm glad I rolled with you, Zaniculus roars, flaring his aura. Witness the true power of an A-rank spirit. Don't blink. A massive shockwave blasts out. Shu shields his eyes from the gale force winds, squinting at the light. Through the dust and chaos, he tries to make out the silhouette forming in front of him. Zaniculus morphs, reshaping into a humanoid figure. He stands there, looking like a high-level vampire lord. Sharp fangs, icy stare, the works. Shu's jaw drops. Who are you supposed to be? Surprised, the spirit's voice is deeper, smoother now. Shu stammers. What kind of evolution is this? A vampire, the spirit laughs. Nah. A god cursed me into that mascot form ages ago. I'm actually an angel. Massive black wings burst from his back. Dude went full fallen angel mode. Shu circled him, checking the angles, thinking the aesthetic was honestly incredibly sick. But Zaniculus leaned in, pale as a sheet, asking, Yo, what just happened? Shu scrambled back, shouting for some personal space. He hoped this upgrade wasn't just cosmetic. Please tell him there are stats behind that pretty face. Zaniculus smirked with newfound confidence. Oh, absolutely. To thank Shu for the glow-up. He was about to flex his true potential. He raised a hand, mana crackling around him as he began to chant, unleashing the forbidden arts, darkness that rules the world, hidden hacks, the power to bend reality itself. Scan, warp dimensional slash. Before Shu could even blink, the guy vanished into thin air. Shu stood there, jaw on the floor, screaming at the empty space. Bro, what is going on? Don't ghost me. Suddenly, the system UI started pinging like crazy. Level up notifications flooded his vision, leaving Shu completely bewildered. He was level 85, grinding takes forever up here, but he just jumped 3 levels instantly. That is insane XP. Poof. Xeniculus reappeared, dusting off his hands, cleared the entire dungeon floor. From here, down to floor 5. Everything's dead. Shu sweated bullets. For real, how did you even do that? Xeniculus shrugged easy. Pinged the map to find them, warped to their faces and deleted them with a dimensional slash. He added that there were other players around, but told Shu to chill. He didn't hit any friendlies. Shu facepalmed so hard it hurt, staring at the ground. He grabbed the demon's shoulders. Dude, wiping the map when others are farming is against the rules. That's kill stealing. Plus, if you speedrun it off screen, I can't loot the bodies or film it for content. No views equals no money. Xeniculus looked genuinely shook by the logic. Shu tried to regain his composure, his voice shaking a little. He realized the demon's personality had shifted too, way more chill now. Shu sighed. Just save some for the camera next time. Okay, you're still cool. Bottom line, Xeniculus was absolutely cracked and surprisingly vibe-friendly. The demon draped an arm around Shu like they were besties. So boss, what's the move? Cut to later, Eva was losing it. You made a guild and didn't tell me. Shu blinked, confused. I mean, I'm making it official like, right now, Eva screamed. That is way too slow. Suddenly, Shinji kicked the office door open. Boss, big news. The guildmaster and the blood idol herself. Kuromine Shizuka is in the lobby. Shu turned to the star and grinned. Shizuka, long time no see. She scanned the office, nodding in approval. Not bad. I see everyone grinding hard to get your name out there. You think? Shu asked. Shizuka got real with him. Big guilds stifle talent. The heavy hitters always end up going solo eventually. Happened to me too. But keep chasing this dream, and your roster is going to outgrow mine in no time. Eva's expression went dark. She clenched her fist, turned to Shu, and dropped the bomb. Let me join. Right now. I leveled up, and I've tamed the divine beast. Shu looked confused. Wait, didn't Shizuka want you? Shizuka cut in. I tried. She turned me down flat. Shu turned back to Eva. Are you 100% sure you are S-tier combat material? Any guild would kill to have you. Eva's gaze dropped. When I first popped my ult, when I summoned the beast, I lost control. My own mother took the hit, badly. Shu froze, speechless at the confession. Mom never blamed me, Eva whispered, but I vowed never to let my power hurt anyone else again. That is why I became a seeker. I was paralyzed by fear, until I found your channel. Watching you gave me the guts to grind. That experiment, I controlled the beast because of you. Now it is my turn. I have got your back, Shu. She was practically shouting, then flushed red. Sorry, got carried away. Shu smiled. Summoning a divine beast is a 1 in a million skill. He didn't need a tryout, she was already in.